Before we start, we would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land we're recording on. For me, that's the Wangaburra clan.
And for me, it's the Wurundjeri peoples.
Welcome back, everybody. Hey, girl, how are you?
Hi, good. How are you?
Oh, you know what? I'm good. I am good. I feel like there's always a lot going on in the world, in the social media worlds, all of it. But we've been, if you're not living under a rock, you've obviously seen the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard case, which we've been not consumed by. For a little while, I was getting slightly too invested, and it started to really feed my anger bodies, and you can go down all of the paths. You truly can. And, you know, it is in the eye of the beholder and how you want to see it. But we're going to have a little talk about that today. Obviously, we're going to give a little backstory of it just in case you haven't heard about it. And then we're just going to go off our opinions because obviously, let's say we are not lawyers. Number one, we are not lawyers.
No. And we're not journalists either.
We're not journalists. This is just our opinions, what we've seen on social media and how we feel about it. And then you can take what you want and go do your own research. But I do highly recommend that you go do your own research. And I also want to say that I'm very uncomfortable talking about this. So this isn't coming from a fact of, oh, this is what I know and this is what I believe to be true. This is just how we feel.
Yeah, I think it's something that we weren't sure about whether we should talk about or not because we're no experts on it. But I think the most important thing first up is to talk about what the case is, and then we can talk about how uncomfortable the reaction to the case has made us. That's kind of where we're coming from, isn't it?
Yeah, I feel that's it in a nutshell. So do you want to do the honours?
Yeah, that's the conversations that you and I have been having privately. So we just wanted to share what we think with our listeners. But most importantly, up front, we need to just talk about what the case is. So he's suing her for defamation over a piece that she wrote in the Washington Post about the consequences that she faced after her allegations of domestic abuse. So under Virginian defamation law, for her words to be actionable, they have to be three things. Number one, the publication of. Number two, an actionable statement. And number three, with the requisite, which means intent. Okay, so to be actionable, the statement has to be false. Okay, and then it's something that he can sue her for. So a reminder that the truth is an absolute defense to defamation under Virginian law. So if a statement is true under Virginian law, it cannot be defamatory. So the question is whether what she wrote in the post is true. That's the case. He then must prove that what she was saying and the implications were false. Okay, so that she has any improper motive. So we have to really remember that that's what the case is. This is not a criminal trial. A lot of people are saying that they're on trial simply because they're sitting in witness boxes. Okay, it looks like they're on trial. They're not. This isn't a trial. This is a defamation case. It's very different. The facts are that he's suing her for defamation. What everyone else is taking it to be is that she needs to be proven to be an abuser of him. Now, what's coming out with this case is the abuse of both of them. Mm-hmm. What we're seeing now is a classic case of a witch hunt, which historically is about making a woman look like an evil person, and this is not what the case is about, but this is what the case of the public opinion has become about. So this is actually what we want to touch on as feminists. The one thing that this defamation case is bringing out is all of their disgusting behaviour, and they're putting it on display because they need that, you know, for the case. But what everyone is doing is they're taking her disgusting behaviour and they're forgetting his disgusting behaviour.
Yeah.
Or or not even forgetting it, ignoring it. And this is self-confessed disgusting behaviour.
There's text messages
why?
of what he has said and admitted to.
Exactly, and it's been proven in past cases for him. You know, he tried to sue the son for defamation and lost. But what we're having the problem with the most is how much people are going after her. So we've got a few journalists that we think are really credible who have actually shown other sides that I don't think people are willing to look at.
And to be honest, when I first heard about this, I didn't know much about her. It's as the tale as old as time. You see Johnny Depp. You've watched him as Willy Wonka. You've watched him as the beautiful Jack Sparrow. We love Johnny. Johnny's great. He feels like home to us. We don't know much about her. She's come in. She's young. She's the vixen. She's the party girl. She does outrageous things. Look, I'm not taking away from any of the outrageous things she does. I think they're both quite toxic. I think the relationship's toxic, but everybody is jumping in on that. And that's not what this is about. Yes, what she has done is very questionable. What he's done is very questionable. Her innocence isn't a hill that I want to die on it, but neither is his at all. But I think that we are so accustomed as a society to think Johnny Depp, we've never seen him really do a bad thing before. She's come in and now all this bad stuff's come out. But when we started going down, obviously we've seen the hashtag Justice for Johnny and all that, but there's two sides to every story at the end of the day, and there's the truth. And then there's one thing that we came across that is really interesting that I highly recommend everybody go read. Her name on Instagram is Lala, Let Me Explain. And she's done this amazing post on, because at the moment the biggest thing that seems to be going on is, toxic femininity. And we just love to say that women are crazy. We just love it. Women do it too. And I've noticed so many of my friends who are feminists being like, see, and now it's time for us to all realize that men are victims too.
Yeah.
And it's just
women have been doing it just as long and just as badly. There's no such thing as toxic femininity, because to have toxic masculinity means that the masculine have been holding down the feminine systemically over periods of time. And we haven't been doing that to them.
No.
So having a one-off or two-off case of a woman being abusive is not toxic femininity.
Yeah, it's interesting with that because, when we say things to men and people are like, well, not all men, but all of a sudden now it's all women. All women, when it's just why? We've got to really look at that. And
it's almost like an aha moment for them, isn't it? It's like, aha, I got you. They've been waiting. So the toxic masculine and the misogynist have been waiting for this moment to go, see, aha, she's proof that you women are just as bad as us men. Don't look at us anymore. Look at women and how crazy women are.
Back to her post, is actually perfect. I won't read out the whole thing, but I'll read out the main points. Mm-hmm. She goes on to say that, people have been talking about the evils of women since the beginning of time. And that's partly because the patriarchy was how it was created. Men felt they needed to own and control us. It goes on about starting from the 1500s, the golden age of Rod, which I hadn't heard of. Women were taught that it was our sacred duty to obey men. So if you even think of that alone, now that we're all starting to speak out and not obey our men, that alone is enough just to fuel the fire. It obviously goes on to say it was legal to rape your wife until 1991. I mean, I was one. Mm-hmm. What that's not even that long ago.
That's right.
And just over 40 years ago, it was still legal and commonly accepted that men were in full control of their female partners and they could legally rape and beat us into submission. And yet people act as though this legacy means nothing, as though our parents and grandparents weren't conditioned into believing that women had no rights. And still to this day, the idea of toxic femininity and evil women impacts on everything. We are blamed for our own rapes and murders. There are countless legal examples where courts have questioned why women went out instead of why a man murdered her when she was out. So these conversations about evil women have been used to derail the actual conversation about structural misogyny and sexism
Yeah.
and to punish women for crimes committed against us. This is a really good part. She says, nobody has ever said that women don't abuse. Nobody has ever said that. Nobody has ever said that evil women don't exist, because of course they do. We're humans. What we have said is that systems and public opinion do not allow women to get away with it the same way that men have done for centuries.
It's very true.
That's a perfect example.
Yeah.
And it's just, you've really, really, really got to ask yourself and be very careful with your defense on Johnny Depp. Why are you defending him so fearlessly? Is it because you're conditioned to believe a woman speaking out is just, in us, we're just like, oh, hang on a minute, she must be crazy. She's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Or is she from a generation that has been taught that they can start speaking out?
Exactly.
You know, his exes, all of these exes who are, why are they so silent? Maybe they're conditioned to be silent. Maybe they're not. Maybe they weren't abused by him. We don't know. But what we do know is he was in his late 40s and she was in her early 20s when they were together. I don't know about you, but when I was in my 20s, I was scratching my ass and bumping into things still, making a lot of questionable.
I still am.
Yeah. But, last night I was talking to my friend who works in domestic violence for Lifeline, and she was saying how it's also, can I just say, if you haven't watched SBS's See What You Made Me Do, please go and watch it. It is one of the best documentaries and explains the different sections of domestic violence. But one of the things that really got me was how a lot of domestic violence victims, in particular women, majority are women that these services help out, they come across women who have fought back. And what happens is most of the time is when they're in a domestic violence situation, they will provoke the man. They know that there's something in them. They've been with this man for long enough to know when he's about to go, when he's about to explode, right? So if something is coming up, like on the weekend they're meeting her, they're going out with her family, or they've got something to go to, she often knows that if it doesn't happen now, the explosion, it's going to happen in a public place, or it's going to happen, or she's just sick of the waiting, because things build. They watch their abusers build, like they start to get antsy, they start to make arguments, and they can tell, abuse is coming on. It's going to come on pretty soon. So often a woman will make it happen in a time that she can deal with it. I think there's a lot of younger women who are now fighting back, and they're speaking out about things that we never used to fight out. Or, up until 1991, it was legal for our husbands to rape us. And that wasn't a brutal rape. A lot, like you said to me the other day, people think that rape is only brutal. It's not.
Yeah, like
it's when
screaming
you don't
and yelling and being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's when you don't want to do it.
And you want to do it to keep him happy, because you're scared of what's to come if you don't.
Yeah. And we also have to use the term coercive control, because that's a part of domestic violence now. I think that the case between Depp and Hart is showing how much coercive control has been used, but it's nothing that, we can talk about legally. I just also wanted to point out that while everyone is being distracted by this huge, important celebrity case, which is important, what is happening right under our noses, and especially the noses of Americans, is that a historical bill that was passed in the 70s called Roe versus Wade is about to be overturned, which means that abortion is about to become illegal in many, many states in America. And while we're all being distracted, this is something that is so monumental and pretty much is the same as what you read and saw happening in The Handmaid's Tale. Like, this is the shit to overturn, to go so backwards. This is something I think we should talk about next week, because we've talked a lot today and we've been quite heavy. But it is absolutely abhorrent that this is happening. We will talk about that next week, I think. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so too. And I think that there alone is it's almost like, is it a nice little icing on top of the already cluster of sorrow of a cake with us trying to explain to you guys that, again, we're looking at a case where we're feeling sorry for a man while men are out there trying to make decisions about our bodies as women. Open your eyes. That's all I'm going to say. Open your eyes. Question yourself.
If you are
dig a little deeper.
You are part of the problem. This is a funner one. The Met Gala was last week. So, you do have pictures. It is quite an affair. What do you make of the Met Gala, and what did you make of this year's theme?
I think the theme would have been nice if people actually got it. I loved the fashion, but I think it was a little bit of hit or miss, and it was a bit of a miss.
A lot of misses this year.
So, even looking at this here, what the shit? Kylie has got on a baseball cap backwards with a bride's veil and a frickin' birthday cake bottom half. I mean, Kim Kardashian.
She didn't even look happy in that.
Oh, I wouldn't be. I'd be tamping.
She looked like she'd made a huge mistake.
She's like, this is a mistake. I've made a mistake. Kim Kardashian wearing Marilyn Monroe's dress. I'm cross about it, firstly.
Oh, my God. That's blasphemy.
Nobody deserves to wear Marilyn Monroe's dress. And if you are able to wear it, it's not going to be Kim Kardashian. It's got to be something like performance royalty.
Absolutely.
I'm talking someone that's done the hard yards in the entertainment world as a performer.
Someone that Marilyn would bestow it upon. But that was a handmade dress. And it was obviously handmade, they were all handmade back then. But this dress was so custom designed for Marilyn that she was sewn into it.
Yeah.
So to actually have anyone try to put it on is almost blasphemy. It's
apparently she got turned down a bunch. They were like, no, you're not to wear it. But of course, Kim Kardashian gets whatever she wants. And they finally said she could do it. But she had to lose 7.2 kilograms to fit into that dress.
To get into it.
And everybody's like
raving. Yeah.
And I'm like, for a dress that you don't even deserve to wear. I know it's just a piece of clothing, but did you have to wear Marilyn Monroe's dress? Yeah, Marilyn
Monroe was hounded until the moment she died. That what she went through and, was her legacy, is so incredibly important. And for someone like the Kardashians to come and take a big dump all over it, just simply because they have the money. She got turned down. Well, can you imagine the money that she would have ended up giving them to get them to say yes? I mean, this is the world we live in. It really is.
And she could only wear it on the red carpet, and then she had to get a replica made for her to sit down.
And the irony of all of it was she didn't look even close to what Marilyn looked like in that dress.
Why did she do her hair like that? Why didn't she do a Marilyn Monroe bob number?
Well, no, but that would have been like an imitation, and she knows that. But she ended up looking like Draco Malfoy from Harry Potter.
I've heard people say that.
With that blonde hair. And
it was a bit much.
The irony of it all, the sweet, sweet justice of it all was that her younger sister came up and ended up wearing a dress very similar that suited her skin type. And looked incredible.
Which one?
Chloe.
She got 80.
Chloe.
Yeah, she looked good.
She looked amazing, and she looked like what Kim was trying to look like in Marilyn's dress. Her skin type was the wrong colour. Marilyn was a very, very pale skinned woman and had that blonde hair that was platinum and went so well with everything about her. And that dress was made specifically to match her skin tone. Kim looked amazing. Of course she looked amazing. But I just found it a little bit funny that her own sister usurped her in the looks department in a dress very similar.
I love it when shit like that happens.
Yeah, it's imagine the conversation that was going on between those two sisters.
Oh, they're so boring.
You can't wear that. I'm wearing this. Oh, you can't wear that. You literally can't wear that. Well, I'm literally wearing it, Kim.
The thing with that is like everybody, as soon as Kim and Pete kind of came onto the scene and everybody was like, I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Why would she want to be with him when she could get whatever she wants? I don't get why Pete would want to be with her. And that's a huge thing for me to say.
I don't know why anyone would want to be with a Kardashian.
She comes with so much, you know, with Kanye and his mental state and the constant threats, and obviously Kanye's and her children and that whole battle. And then, not saying women with children are hard to date at all. I just mean Kanye West and Kim Kardashian's children. That's a completely different ball game. But just like, to me, he's so and cool and chilled, and he owns his mental health, he owns his addiction, he talks about his whatever he's got, I can't remember, and he just helps her get into dresses that don't fit her and she has to lose weight for and is manic about, and he's sitting there with his Diet Coke while she's squeezing her bum in the dress, and I'm just like, everybody's like, Kim's this goddess and why did she pick him? But I'm like, what how the does he put up with that? That's a lot.
Pussy. It's pussy.
But there's so much pussy out there.
Every woman he's gone out with is hot, just hot.
Maybe
he doesn't go out with ugly fat women, that's for sure. He doesn't go out with funny women. He only goes out with hot.
Yeah, that says a lot about him, doesn't it?
Yeah, he only goes out with hot pussy. And
you know what?
Yeah, this is
Met Gala.
Pete Davidson. He could have a shower sometime, for sake. You know, all the shit that the women go through to impress him, and the dude can't even friggin' wash his hair.
I know. Grow up.
He's hot though, but
I think he's hot.
Wouldn't want to smell him.
Yeah, brush your teeth.
Smell you later.
Nah, he's nice. They're both nice. Whatever. I'm happy they're happy. Boring. I don't give a shit about them. I don't give a shit about. No. Nah, do you like the Met Gala? Good on them. Have the Met Gala they deserve.
Yeah, look, I'm just really glad that I don't ever have to go to a Met Gala because I don't know what on earth I would wear.
I can't even go. I'm nervous about ever attending Fashion Week, let alone a freaking Met. Imagine going to Met Gala. I'd be a bag of nerves. I'd be beside myself. I'd just wear a potato sack so no one would notice me.
You'd look good in a potato sack.
I don't know about
Doesn't matter. Anyway, it's been a lot this week and we're good with that. We hope you're okay with that.
And if you're not, heal from this.
If you're still with us, thank you. We love you. And we hope we've somehow given you something to think about. I don't know. Please DM us, email us. You know all the deets now.
Yeah.
You've been
and
with
if you
us
don't,
long enough.
Oh, bloody just, if you don't, then clean your ears.
But we will be back next week and we will be in ear holes again. We love your ear holes. We love it in there.
We do. We love everything about them. And we'd like to say one last thing. Have the day you deserve.
Because we sure will.
God love you. God love all of us.
Oh, stop it. Stop it. Okay, bye.
Goodbye.